So I really thought Biden was going to go in depth on the Chinese spy balloon debacle during his State of the Union speech, to maybe clear up the air of any doubts. No, and if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think he even talked about it. And if he did, it was quickly mentioned when he brought up the Chinese threats. The way the Biden administration brushed off this security threat is the DOD said, there's nothing to worry about. This has happened before. Revealed. 3 Chinese spy balloons infiltrated the U.S. during Trump's administration, but he never shot them down or told the public as Republicans call for Biden to resign for putting America at risk. In reporting, the latest of the Chinese balloons shot down off the coast of South Carolina on Saturday, the U.S. Department of Defense said 3 other of these crafts briefly transited the continental United States at least 3 times during the prior administration. The revelation started Mark Esper, the former Secretary of Defense, and comes as Trump and other Republicans claim he would have shot down the balloons while calling on Joe Biden to resign over the stalled attack on the craft. All right. So the DOD is basically saying, well, at least the Biden administration told you about it. This has happened 3 times during the Trump administration, and he kept Americans in the dark about it. Now, I don't believe that, but sure. And here's a picture provided by the Daily Mail that shows the previous Chinese spy planes. So, Chinese spy balloons, shootings during Trump and Biden's presidency. And as we can see here, there was one spotted over Guam, during Trump's administration. And there was one spotted over Hawaii during Trump's administration in October of 2022. And I don't know why there's 2 there. Was there 2 spotted there or not? There was one spotted in Texas and another spotted in Florida during Trump's administration. Okay. Okay. I don't believe that. Who were they spotted by? No? Who spotted them? Because it definitely was not American citizens who spotted them, because they would have said something about it. This would have been in the fucking news. It would have been all over the news. Because it would have gave the news some ammunition against Trump. So let me show you how easily this fucking thing was spotted in the sky. All right?
Okay. That's the moon. It's a little fuzzy out here, and it's a kind of a cruddy phone, and it's slightly overcast. But what the heck is that? That's not the sun. And according to my little planet guide, it's not a planet. What the heck is that? Any help would be appreciated.
Any help would be appreciated. That dude saw that balloon in the sky when he was on his way to work. He told his coworker about it, and then his coworker stepped outside to take a picture with the better camera, and this is what he got. Look at that. Look at that. The DOD's full of shit. Americans in Florida, Texas, and Hawaii would have seen that shit in the sky. They would have. I'm just saying, man, how easily they saw it in Montana, and it was a little bit of overcast. Texas, Florida, and Hawaii are sunshine states. Right next to California. They would have saw it. They would have saw it in the sky. I'm sorry. And here's another example of how the DOD is full of shit. John Ratcliffe, the former director of national intelligence, came out and said what the DOD said was a lie. He refutes it. Mark Esper, the former Secretary of Defense, refutes it. Mike Pompeo, who is running for, I think really put his bid in for presidency, who was the former Secretary of State and CIA director, refutes it.
John, the Biden administration is trying to minimize this explosive situation in this past week, and the Department of Defense is claiming that there were 3 balloons, Chinese spy balloons, that entered the United States airspace during the Trump administration, and that they were not shot down and they were not disclosed. Can you please tell us the truth and if that's true?
Well, it's not true. I can refute it. Former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper refuted it yesterday. Former Secretary of State and CIA Director Mike Pompeo has refuted it.
Jesus,
but Maria, the American people can refute it for themselves. Do you remember during the Trump administration when photographers on the ground and commercial airline pilots were talking about a spy balloon over the United States that people could look up and see even with the naked eye, and that a media that hated Donald Trump wasn't reporting? I don't remember that either because it didn't happen. As I said to you earlier, this was unprecedented. We have never had a circumstance where an adversary has had spy craft over our country, our continental United States, posing a threat for the better part of a week straight. And that's why I said to you before, not only is it unprecedented, but the damage from this is incalculable, both from an intelligence standpoint and the possible payloads. You talked a little bit earlier about the different types of payloads that a stratospheric balloon could carry. Those possibilities are limited only by your imagination. But what we do know is none of those are possible to be deployed against the United States if a stratospheric balloon isn't allowed to traipse across our countryside for 4 straight days, something that
has never happened before. You know, and he's right. Now, this balloon shut down air travel. That means the FAA was able to track it on its radars. And here's an article. Breaking: FFA shuts down 3 airports due to national security initiatives as China balloon advances. Come on. Now, this would have made news if this happened 3 times during the Trump administration. CNN, MSNBC, and every shit lib on YouTube would have used this as ammunition against Trump. It's really, no, there's no ways this happened before, and they were saying that, well, it was floating too high. I was like, well, come on, don't give us that bullshit. So, the balloon was finally shot down on the 4th once it hit the coastline of South Carolina. Now, and I'm having a hard time believing this happened during Trump's administration, but who knows? Maybe it did, because the Biden administration met with Trump officials to brief them about the spy balloons that came into American airspace during Trump's administration. And the Trump officials are having a hard time refuting a picture that was taken of a Chinese spy balloon floating over California 3 weeks after Trump's inauguration. Eric, happy Valentine's Day. Love, Fang Fang. That's some hard evidence right there.